The scene is spectacular. The Mediterranean glints on one side, the maritime Alps rise high on the other. Between them, a small path snakes its way between sea and mountain, hugging the Italian coastline. This is the brand new cycling Riviera bike path, a hot holiday destination just opened in time for the 2009 summer season. At the beginning of March, we went for a sneak preview.
Nel blu dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù, e volavo felice più in alto del sole ed ancora più su.
We're arriving at Marina degli Aregai, the newest leisure port on this part of the Ligurian coast. It is bang in the middle of the new cycling Riviera, and the new cycling path means a lot to this harbour, as bikes and boats have always gone well together.
From this picturesque harbour, you can take boat trips to the nearby whale sanctuary or enroll in a sailing school. And now, with the opening of the Riviera cycle path, you can rent bikes to explore the riches of this spectacular coastline. L'ingegnere Tullio Russo.
Buongiorno Tullio!
President of Area 24, the company which developed the first part of the new cycling Riviera, he will be our special guide for this tour.
Cantare.
Ma come vai, bellezza in bicicletta, la 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 la.
Ma dove vai, bellezza in bicicletta, così di fretta pedalando con ardore, le gambe snelle, tornite belle, m'hanno già messo la passione dentro al cuore. Ma dove vai, con i capelli al vento, col cuor contento e col sorriso incantato, se tu lo vuoi, o prima o poi, arriveremo sul traguardo dell'amore.
Now that we have moved the old railway north, we have created the first 24 kilometers of what will become a 74-kilometer cycle path by 2015. The path is a fabulous new tourist attraction, but it is also a great way to get around. In fact, since the path opened this year, local people from these pretty coastal villages have taken to using bikes instead of cars.
The old railway, inaugurated in 1872, marked the birth of modern tourism here. Before then, it was the English who first discovered this coast on horse-drawn carriages. The train meant local development, but also cut the fishermen villages from the sea. Now, the cycle path restores the original beauty and peace through the 8 cities along this coast, from Ospedaletti to San Lorenzo.
This is the old railway linking Italy to France. For more than a century, it has protected this spectacularly beautiful coast from any exploitation. Now, this is the last stretch of track which is about to disappear to give back the sea to the people on bikes. Buongiorno!
Buongiorno.
Tutto il giorno.
Allora com'è qui?
Beautiful, wonderful. It's like arriving in paradise. I now come to bike here every day. I don't need to see a doctor anymore. Cycling here makes me feel healthy.
Salve, come va?
Bene, bene.
It's incredibly beautiful. We are discovering our coast again. We are seeing it probably as the English saw it when they first came here.
It's the beginning of March, but the sun is so warm you can understand why people here say it's forever spring. Even in winter, the temperature never gets below 10 degrees. That's why there is always something blooming here and why the region is known as the Coast of Flowers.
It's quite stunning. They've done a clever thing. This is our first time riding on the path. It's a wonderful day and we're looking forward to riding the whole route.
Moving the railway inland has made 5 kilometers of new beaches accessible. Now you can get directly to the sea by bike.
It was this uniquely mild climate and secluded beauty that attracted so many of the richest British families at the end of the 19th century. They were following in the footsteps of Dr. Antonio, the hero of a popular bestseller written in the 1870s by John Ruffini, a native of Liguria, exiled to London.
In Europa ci sono poche strade più belle.
Few of the public highways of Europe are more favored than this. Few, at any rate, combine in themselves 3 such elements of natural beauty as the Mediterranean on one side, the Apennines on the other, and overhead the splendors of the Italian sky. Medieval Santo Stefano used to be cut in two by the railway. Today, the cycle path has joined the 2 sides of this pretty village. It makes it a much more peaceful and attractive place to visit or live in. The influence of the 19th century English visitors gave this area a distinct sense of Victorian refinement. This is the Villa Nobel in San Remo, the magnificent house where Alfred Nobel lived out the last days of his life. The most impressive and lasting legacy of the English along this unique coast is the wonderful English gardens of the Riviera. Villa Hambury is a botanist's paradise with 3,500 different species.
Thomas Hambury came here in 1867 on holiday, and he took a picnic and he saw this point from a boat with his brother Daniel, and he was immediately incredibly impressed by it, and he wrote in his diary, "My heart moved within me," and he understood that this was a microclimate completely protected by the mountains, and that he could experiment. It was a dream of his, was to experiment with subtropical plants from all over the world, and here he saw that this was one of the unique places to do so. He was one of the earliest of the English to come down here.
The English taught Ligurians how to experiment with the extraordinary climate, and the Ligurians learned their lessons well. Today, the region is one of Europe's most famous flower-growing areas.
These are our ranunculus. we grow them and we send and we export them. She likes them.
She definitely does.
She likes them very much. We export them to Holland, to Germany, and also to England.
Flowers are great, but if you really want something to bite into, the local delicacies are hard to beat. The Italian Riviera is a foodie's paradise. Just take one example, the Taggiasca olive.
The Taggiasca olive has now become famous all over the world, thanks to many celebrity chefs who appreciate its special delicate flavour. Jamie Oliver and Giorgio Locatelli, for example, are passionate about our oil because it gives their special recipes an extremely fine flavour. The Taggiasca olive oil is a bit like a Grand Cru, a great Chianti or a great Barolo. Because there is such a limited supply, the best restaurants in the world just have to have it.
Cin cin, salute!
Salute.
Con il vermentino della Liguria.
Here
Ottimo.
at La Conchiglia di Arma di Taggia, one of the best restaurants along the coast, you can enjoy the most delicious pasta al pesto, with fruity local wines like Rossese and Pigato, and the legendary dark red San Remo prawns. Here, holiday cyclists can imagine themselves riding along in the path of some of Italy's greatest cycling heroes. It was not far from here that Gino Bartali won the Classicissima, the great 298 kilometers Milan to San Remo road race. And when night falls and the twinkling lights of San Remo sparkle along the seafront, the glamorous Italian Riviera comes to life.
That Riviera touch can open up any door. It can mean so much in happiness and more. So jump on a jet, you're set to get swinging attention.
And of course, the new cycling Riviera is not only about bikes and getting fit. It's also about the most famous casino in Italy, San Remo. Faites le jeu.
Et rien ne va plus.
Forever and evermore.
Yes, yes.
And you can live so much. Benedon, get that Riviera touch.
Nestled among the hills, high above the sea, is the enchanting medieval village of Triora. Here, in 1587, the calm of this secluded hill town was destroyed when the Inquisition put 200 women on trial, accusing them to cause famine by witchcraft. No wonder Triora became known as the Salem of Italy. Farther along the coast, also in the mountains, at 600 meters above sea level, we reach Atrincea with its wonderful vineyards. It is hard to believe that these quiet terraces, carved from the mountain, hide a violent past. But during World War II, they were used as trenches, the last Italian outpost before the French border. Today, the air is filled with the scent of the Mediterranean's most aromatic flora, like this rosemary. The wonderful wines and olives seem to absorb all the aromas of the herbs that share the same low, dry walls. When Napoleone Bonaparte traveled through the region, he sampled the famous Roccese wine and ordered his barrels to be filled with this nectar grown on rocks. This stunning stretch of the Italian